Okay, so we're going to start in a seated position with meditation. So make sure that you have all the support you need to sit. We're then going to go, or actually we'll then go into the Gayatri Mantra. So we'll be sitting for maybe 10 minutes or so. If you're in Melbourne, I know not everyone is, but if you are, it's quite cold this morning. So make sure that you're rugged up, you've got your warm socks on, and that the spine is as upright as possible. So the Gayatri Mantra, I think most of you are familiar with this chant now. It's an ancient, highly revered, sacred chant from the Rig Veda, an ancient text. And it's to honour the sun god Savitri, or the sun deity Savitri. And it's an invocation to the light. It encourages us to connect with light, and it's an acknowledgement of the external sun, the power, the healing energy of the external sun as a symbol for our own inner light and luminosity. So to begin, we're going to work with a little meditation with Padma Mudra, or the Lotus Mudra. This isn't one we use very regularly. So if you're not familiar with it, we bring the inner edge of the thumbs, hope you can see, to touch, and the inner edge of the little fingers to touch. So we're creating our beautiful lotus flower. All the other fingers are spread, and we just rest that at the heart space. Just going to let a couple more people in. So this is our lotus mudra. Padma means lotus. There we go. So if you're just joining now, we're beginning with a meditation and then moving into the Gayatri Mantra. And we're beginning with Padma Mudra, or the Lotus Mudra, creating the shape of a beautiful flower, our lotus flower, and resting that at the heart space. Now try to relax the shoulders. And if the arms get tired at any point, we're not staying too long, then just feel free to lower the arms down. You might like to close the eyes. Just soften the skin of the face. Drop the shoulders. You might like to begin by sighing the breath away. In yoga, the lotus flower reminds us of the divine within. It connects us with our inner beauty, our inner light. And it symbolizes the journey of transcendence, rising out of the mud and muck. So the mud symbolizes our stories, our dramas, our ego, life's challenges. And then the lotus travels through the water, and the water symbolizes our practice, our yoga practice, our personal development, purifying and cleansing. And then eventually the lotus rises out of the water, fully blooming. And this symbolizes our awakened self. So as you sit quietly, just for the next 3 or so minutes, imagine that a beam of light is shining down from above, entering through the crown of your head. So see if you can connect with this beam of light. It might be a sunbeam. You might visualize a beautiful sun in the sky this morning. Imagine one of those rays is shining down in through the crown of the head, and you're drawing that light down into your being. So this light is really consciousness itself, pure awareness. And if you like now, you continue to inhale and draw this light, this awareness, this consciousness down into your being. On the exhalation, you might like to gently blow the breath into your lotus flower. So you're drawing the breath in through the crown of the head, drawing light energy in through the crown, and you're gently blowing this light into the lotus flower to fuel your journey. So a couple more minutes here. After your next exhalation, bring the hands together into Namaskar Mudra. So press the palms together and bow your head down towards your heart, saying to yourselves a few times, my inner light shines forth, guiding and lighting my way. My inner light shines forth, guiding and lighting my way. My inner light shines forth, guiding and lighting my way. Gently lift the head up. Release the hands down into a comfortable position, perhaps on your lap or on your knees. And we're going to move straight into the Gayatri mantra. So feel free to join in and chant along or just sit and listen. Sometimes it's nice to sway a little bit from side to side. So just do what feels good for you. Okay, so let's exhale all breath. Om Bo Svaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bo Svaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bo Svaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bo Svaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bo Svaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Om Bhuvusvaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvusvaya Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhago devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Let's chant a big Om, breathing in. Om. And when you feel ready, no rush. We're going to quietly move into extended child pose. So you all know this pose. Knees are hip width or a little bit wider, big toes touch, the arms are extending forward. So come down to the ground. Make sure your candle's safe if you have one lit. Find your breath here, connecting with your breath, feeling the inhalation flow in, feeling the exhalation flow out. Remember, we bring the poses to life with our breath. There's no yoga without the breath. So the intention I have set for our practice this morning is to connect more with our inner light, with consciousness itself. In yoga, we very much believe that the more light we can shine on our anxiety, our worries, tension, frustration, the more they seem to lose their power. If you would prefer a different intention for your practice this morning, that's absolutely fine. Just take a moment now to call to mind your intention and then repeat this to yourself 3 times. A reminder also, as we begin our practice, that it's important to ask yourself 3 questions before attempting any pose. Firstly, is it safe for me to do this pose? Secondly, will I feel okay? Will I be okay tomorrow if I do this pose? And the third, do I need to dial it up or down? Do I need to come out of the pose a little bit, perhaps have a rest, or can I go in a bit deeper? Remember also that you can rest at any time you need to. You can come into child pose or lie down, and you can visualize yourself doing the poses that you can't do on a physical level. All right, let's start to add a bit more movement. So after your next exhalation, breathe yourself up onto all 4s. Come into cat, looking up. Round the back as you exhale and drop back into child. Breathing in, coming up again onto all 4s. Keep the face soft. Rounding the back and sink back into child. Now, we all know this really well, so do 3 or 4 more of these, linking your movement with your breath. Listening to each inhale and each exhale. How's the back feeling this morning? How's the spine feeling? The different parts of the spine. Now, you're welcome to continue with this movement. Those of you who want to go a bit further, we're going to tuck the toes at this point and lift into dog. Now we're going to hold dog. Now, if your legs are feeling quite stiff, just start by bending one leg and then the other. Spread the fingers wide. Make sure your head and neck are relaxed. And we're holding dog. Now, if you'd like to work into the 3-legged dog and a bit of an extra hip opener, walk your feet together, raise the right leg up. So we're into the 3-legged dog. Now, if you're not sure of this next movement, have a look. We point the right toes, we lift the leg up as high as we can, we drop the bottom part of the leg, the lower leg, and then we swing it over to the left side. So we're opening up that right hip. But as we do this, we want to keep the shoulders square to the front. You might be able to look under your left armpit towards your right. See if you can find your right toes. And you see your toes. Keep the breath flowing. Good. And then come back into the 3-legged dog. Lower the right foot down and take the left leg up into the 3-legged dog. Flexing the foot. Then we're going to point the toes. Lift the left leg up as high as you can. Bend the leg. Swing it over to the right side. Now working into that left hip. And some of you might be able to look under the right armpit to see if you can identify your toes. Good. Shoulders are square to the front. Keep the breath flowing. Good. Bring it back into the 3-legged dog. Lower the left foot down. Come down onto your knees and sink into child, either with your arms down alongside you, or you can support your head with your hands. Now, those of you who'd like to add a little semi-inversion, you can interlace your fingers on the back, lift onto the crown of the head, and the arms lift up and over the head. Holding this for perhaps 4 or 5 breaths. And then you can release the hands, gently come back down into child pose. And lift up. Come up onto all fours. This time the knees are together. The hands are under the shoulders. Fingers spread wide. We're going to work with a variation of tiger this time. So exhale all breath. Try to draw the belly in towards the spine, so strong through your core. As we breathe in, we're going to raise the left arm and the right leg. So it's a stretching across the body. And as we exhale, we bring our left elbow to our right knee. Inhale, extend out. And exhale, again, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw in and lower the hand and the knee. Okay, so now we'll try the same on the other side. So as you breathe in, right arm, left leg. And bring your elbow and knee, if you can, to touch. 2 more. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. And lower your hand and your knee. Now sit back onto your feet. If you need to change your position, you can sit cross-legged. We'll just do a little bit of a stretch for the wrists. So with this one, we actually come up and we bring the hands, palms of the hands down onto the floor or onto the mat. So fingers are turned towards the body. I don't know if you can see, maybe I'll do it this way. I think you can actually see my hands. And then I'm trying to sit back as much as I can. Now, some of you might be able to sit all the way back. Others, you might be sort of up here, depending on how tight the wrists are. The other thing to watch is that we're trying to roll the inner wrist towards the outer wrist. They'll tend to want to roll in like this. Okay, so let's hold this for a few breaths. Make sure you're not clenching the teeth. Relax the face. Good, and then release, give it a shake. Okay, so we're in a kneeling position. We're going to do a little flowing sequence. It's a bit different to our regular kneeling salute, so feel free to watch and follow along. Okay, so we're starting here. Nice straight spine, shoulders relaxed. As we breathe in, we come up, we stretch the arms up, we bring the palms together and we lower the hands down through our center. We keep exhaling. Take the hands forward, interlace your fingers, tuck your toes, and lift up into dolphin. Then we lower back down, untuck the toes, slowly sit up. We slide the fingers behind us alongside our toes, and we lift our hips. Now, any neck issues, keep looking forward. Otherwise, you can take the head back. Slowly lower back down, interlace your fingers, breathe into the heart, and we come onto the crown of the head, lifting the arms up and over the head. Returning the hands to the back, sit back down, slowly come up, and the last movement, we bring our fingers alongside our knees and we see if we can lift our knees. So that's one. Let's try again. We'll go a little bit faster. So breathe in, palms together, and breathe out. Interlace your fingers, tuck your toes into dolphin. And down. Slide your hands back and lift your hips, looking forward, or take the head back if that's okay for your neck. Sit down, interlace your fingers, breathe in, and come onto the crown of the head. Return your hands to the back, sit up, fingers alongside your knees, and see if you can lift. 3 more of these. Breathe in, rest if you need to. Exhale. Interlace your fingers, lifting into dolphin. And down. Fingers alongside your toes, lift your hips. Interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together and come onto the crown of the head. Sit back down, come up, and perhaps lifting the knees. Again, breathe in. Palms together. Into dolphin. Lifting your hips. Interlace the fingers, breathe in onto the crown of your head. Come up and knees lift. Okay, last one without my voice. Good. Pause there for a moment now. You perhaps sigh the breath away. If you need to sit in a cross-legged position, feel free to come there. Otherwise, we stay kneeling. Soften the shoulders. And we're going to move into a twist. So we'll breathe the arms out to the side. And we're twisting to the left. So left fingers may be on the floor behind you. Some of you might be able to wrap them around the back, reaching for your waist. Any strain in the neck, don't turn the head quite as far around. So you can always keep the head in more of a neutral position. Good. Gently come back to center, arms out wide, and twist to the right. So either your right fingers on the floor or wrapping them around the back. Good. Come back to center. And let your arms float down. Okay, we're going to come back onto all fours. And some of you might like to move into plank. And then I thought we could have a go at Vasisthasana, our side balance. Now, if you have any shoulder or wrist issues, you won't want to work with plank or the side balance. So perhaps work with a little bit more cat or a variation of tiger and just rest in child when you need to. The rest of us, so we're on all fours, we're going to take one leg back and then the other leg back. So we're into plank, body's in a straight line. And then if you'd like to, take the left hand into the center of the mat, roll over onto the edge of the left foot. Right foot is on top, or you can step the foot in front for a little bit of extra balance. So this is our first stage with Vasisthasana. To go further, we extend the top arm up and we look up. And if you're feeling super energetic this morning, try lifting that right leg up. Flex the foot, push out through the right heel. Breathe. Lower the foot, come back into plank. Let's just drop the knees for a moment, push back into child. Take a breath. Okay, let's try the other side. So come up onto all fours, take one leg back, the other leg back, into plank. Right hand into the center, roll over onto the edge of the right foot, left foot stacked on top, left hand on your hip, perhaps stepping that left foot in front. If you're feeling steady, extend the left arm up and perhaps try taking that left leg up, pushing out through the left heel. Breathe, looking up if you feel really steady. Otherwise, keep looking down. Lower the left leg. Come back into plank. Lower your knees and into child. Bending your arms and taking a rest. Check in with yourself. Note what's going on, how you're feeling at this moment in time, without judgment. All right, now another upper body core strength practice. So if you'd rather not do this, you can come to lie down onto your tummy where we're all going to meet afterwards, or work with another pose of your choice. This is a low plank. Now, you can either, it's a little easier to do this with the fingers interlaced, and again, the body's in a straight line. The traditional pose is actually to have the hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide. It can be, if you've got a block, it's really nice to do this with a block. You hold the ends of the block. Otherwise, the hands are just flat and we're into plank, low plank. So choose one of these two to work with. Might like to have a couple of goes. And those of you who are feeling super energetic this morning, you'd like to challenge yourself, try crossing one ankle over the other and hold that for a couple of breaths. And then swap it over to the other side. Good. If you're still there, another couple of breaths. And then we're all coming down to rest on our tummies. Resting one hand on top of the other, your chin or your forehead on your hands. Perhaps sighing the breath away. Not trying too hard. Not forcing, not straining. If you're not feeling much lightness in the body or the breath this morning, that's okay. If you're feeling a bit muddy this morning, stuck in the mud, your petals not really blooming, it's okay. Thich Nhat Hanh writes, no mud, no lotus. There is the mud and there is the lotus that grows out of the mud. We need the mud in order to make the lotus. And a famous Buddhist proverb states, the lotus flower blooms most beautifully from the deepest and thickest mud. So there is a place for the mud. We need the mud in order to grow. Some days I feel very muddy myself, and that's okay. All right, we're going to move into crocodile, Makarasana. So depending on how the back's feeling this morning, the feet can be hip width. If it's feeling a bit tender, take the feet mat width. If you're feeling super strong, the feet can be together. And the palms of the hands are together. So we come up onto our forearms. We're going to try and hold this for about 60 seconds. You might like to close your eyes. And starting once again to connect with your breath. If it helps, once again, visualize that channel of light or that sunbeam shining down from the sky, traveling in through the crown of the head. So sometimes we may not feel a lot of light within ourselves, so we can connect with that external light, turn our faces to the sun, and allow ourselves to be recharged with the best supply of life force available. Draw that light down into your being. If your back's not loving this, you can always come down early and take a rest. Couple more breaths here. Okay, let's gently come down. Now, if the lower back is feeling a bit tender, you can always bend the lower legs and just swing the legs from side to side. You can also, if it's really worrying you or troubling you, push back into child pose and just take 2 or 3 breaths there. If the back's feeling okay, come back to center. Have your feet hip width or mat width apart. And we're going to try a version of Bhujangasana, cobra, where the hands are out wider than normal. So normally they're just below the tips of the shoulders and the elbows squeeze in. So normally they're on the mat. But I want you to give yourself a bit of extra space this morning. So take them out wide. If you're using a mat, onto the carpet or onto the floor. Forehead down. The hands are level with your shoulders. And on your next inhale, slowly start to come up. Don't feel that you have to straighten the arms. Keep the shoulders down away from your ears. The chest moves forward. We don't want to be collapsing the chest. And breathe. Breathe into your heart space. Now again, if it's a bit intense, feel free to come down at any point and you can push back into child pose if you need to release the back or just swing the lower legs from side to side. Okay, if you're still up, let's come down, have a little rest. And then we're all going to push back into child. Extend the arms forward. Breathe down into the lower back. And then on your next inhale, come up onto all fours, tuck your toes, come into down face dog pose. Holding dog. And then we're going to come up onto our tiptoes and walk our feet towards our hands. Have the feet at least hip width apart. Legs can be bent or straight. And just hang forward. You might like to sway from side to side. Good. Now to come up into Tadasana, we're going to work through Utkatasana, our chair pose. So slowly start to bend the legs and reach the arms up. So your palms are facing each other, hands are shoulder width apart. We're into our imaginary chair. If this is a bit strong for your shoulders, you can always rest your hands on your thighs. So holding this, breathing. If you like, another couple of breaths. When you've had enough, you're going to come all the way up. Bring your palms together and exhale the hands down to your heart. Good. And come towards the fronts of your mats or the fronts of the space you're working in. Keep the hands at the heart. Close the eyes. Spread your toes. Inner arches of the feet lifted. Shoulders relaxed. Sighing the breath away. Again, perhaps taking a moment to connect with the light above, visualizing a beautiful sun in the sky, a symbol, or it's said to be the greatest dispeller of darkness, the sun. And it's an energy that brings warmth and vitality to our being. So imagine drawing those array of sunlight, a beam of warm sun energy in through the crown, and take it down into your being. Going to work through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar, salute to the sun. And we're going to add a chant again to honor and bow down to the energy of the sun. Some of you will be familiar with this. It's Om Suryaya Namaha. So on the first exhalation of our salute, we'll bring in Om Suryaya Namaha. And then again, when we're in down face dog pose in the salute, we'll pause and we'll chant Om Suryaya Namaha. Okay. So exhale all breath. Release the hands down. Breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Inhale, take the arms up, turn the palms up, perhaps a little baby back bend, and then exhale, coming forward, legs bent or straight. It's taking the right leg back. So remember, the knee can be in the air or down on the mat. This is the traditional version with the knee on the mat. Then we come into plank, the 8-pointed position, through into cobra, perhaps staying low, perhaps coming up a little bit higher. Tuck your toes, down face dog pose. Now breathe in here. Om Suryaya Namaha. Look towards your hand, step the right leg forward and the left. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Okay. Second round, breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. This time the left leg back into plank, 8-pointed position, and through into Bhujangasana. Tuck your toes, down face dog pose. Breathing in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Left leg forward and the right. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we're going to do 4 more of these. Breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Right leg back. Into plank. The 8-pointed position. Through into cobra. Back into dog. Breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Right leg forward. And the left. Breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Left leg back. Into plank, the 8-pointed position, Bhujangasana. Into dog. Inhale. Om Suryaya Namaha. Left leg forward. And the right. Two more. Breathe in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Right leg back. Into plank. Knees, elbows, chest and chin. Slide through and back. Om Suryaya Namaha. Right leg forward. And the left. Last one. Om Suryaya Namaha. Left leg back. Knees, elbows, chest and chin. Back into dog. Om Suryaya Namaha. Left leg forward. Coming up. Just pausing here, hands at the heart. Keep the eyes closed. Perhaps sighing the breath away. Perhaps continuing to hear the echo of the chant internally. Good. And gently release your hands. Okay. Going to try a balance, Garudasana, which is one we don't do that often. It's the eagle pose. It's probably don't do it because it's quite tricky. So let's have a go. Be near a wall or the edge of something if you are worried you're gonna fall. So we'll take the weight into the left foot, bend the legs a little bit, and then we're going to try to cross the right knee over the left. Now, if you feel really wobbly, you can always rest the right big toe on the floor. Traditionally, we wrap that foot around the left calf. And then the next stage is to bring the arms up, and we're going to cross the left elbow on top of the right. And then we're seeing if we can bring the palms to touch or towards each other. I'll do it sideways as well, so you can get a different angle. Now, those of you who've got the palms together, try not to let the arms do what I'm doing here. So we want to lift the arms up, relax the shoulders, and then see if we can move the hands away from the face. Keep the breath flowing. If you are feeling really steady and you want to take it further, see if you can bow down. Perhaps bringing the elbow to touch the top knee. And then slowly come up. And let it all go. Give everything a bit of a shake. Let's try the other side. So weight into the right foot, bend the legs, and we'll try to cross the left knee on top of the right. Remember, you can rest the toes on the floor if that's helpful. Otherwise, we try to hook the toes around the calf. And then we bring the arms up. This time, the right elbow is on top of the left. Seeing if we can draw those palms towards each other. Now, staying upright. Some of you might like to try to bow down. Good. And come up. And release. Everything a shake. Good work. Okay. Bring your feet together and hold on to your opposite elbow. So we're going to do a little bit of squatting. Spread the toes. And we're going to just begin by doing 21 little squats. So just counting to yourself. When you finish the 21, release the arms. And we take the legs now hip width apart. Once again, hold on to the opposite elbow. So this time we're doing 14 and we're doing them a little bit slower. Counting to yourself. Good, and let it go. And last one, the legs are wide, toes turned out a little bit. Holding on to the opposite elbow. So this time we're doing 7 quite slowly. So breathing in. Just counting to yourself. The arms are tired like that, mine are for some reason this morning. Just bring them down to the hips. Soften the shoulders. Good, and release, give them a shake. Okay. Legs wide, outer edges of the feet parallel. We're working with a variation of Trikonasana, triangle. So on your next inhale, raise the arms up. Turn to the left and then tip over to the left side, stretching the right arm up. Breathe yourself back to center. Turn around to the right and exhale. Good, so let's keep going. Breathe in. Turning around to the left. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, this time we're going to hold the pose, coming over to the left side and staying here. So you can keep looking down towards your left big toe, or perhaps look forward, or if the neck's feeling nice and strong this morning, you might be able to look up towards your right thumb. Just watch, you don't want any unnecessary strain in the neck. Breathe. Bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turn around to the right and tip over to the right side. Left arm stretching up. So choosing to look towards your big toe, forward, or perhaps up towards your left thumb. Good. Bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Okay, keep the legs as they are. And we're going to turn the right toes around. So now we're going into our traditional Trikonasana triangle, lining up your right heel with the arch of the back foot to help you with your alignment. Okay, so we're going to do our normal triangle. Then we're going to go into it for a second time, and you can either stay in triangle or I'll give you the option of coming into Ardha Chandrasana, which is a balance, or I can talk you through and demonstrate that. Okay, so let's breathe in, raise the arms, turn to the right. Exhale, lean over, take the right hand down, left arm up or on your hip if that's better for your left shoulder this morning. Now again, you can keep looking down, you can look forward or perhaps up towards your left thumb. Good, now bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turn to center and release. Keep the legs as they are. Breathe in. Let's raise the arms again. Turn to the right. Trikonasana. Second time. Now you can stay here or drop your left hand to your hip. Look down. Bend the front leg. Step the back foot in and reach your, I'm worried about this tulip here. Bring the fingertips to the floor just in front of the right foot. And then you're going to see if you can actually lift that back foot up, left leg, and balance on this right leg. Now, if you've got your balance, we're trying to lift this left foot so that it's parallel to the floor. We're flexing the foot. If we feel really steady, we can extend this left arm up and perhaps look up if we can. Otherwise, keep looking down. So there's a lot going on in this pose. Keep the breath flowing. Keep smiling. And then we come out of it as gracefully as we can, coming back up and let it all go. Okay, let's try the other side. So turn your feet around. Just move this out of the way. Okay, so lining up your left heel with the arch of the back foot. So first of all, our normal triangle. Let's breathe in, raise the arms, turn to the left. Exhale, lean over. Option to rest that top hand on your hip if it's better for your shoulder. What's happening to your breath? Good. Bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up. And exhale, keep the legs as they are. So going into it for a second time, breathe in. Turn to the left. Trikonasana. Now, option to stay here. Otherwise, drop the right hand to your hip, bend the front leg, step that back foot in, I like to make a tripod with my left fingers just in front of the left foot. See if you can lift that back leg up. If you're feeling quite steady, we try to have this leg parallel to the floor, flexing the foot. If we can, extending the top arm up. And if we're feeling really steady, we might try to look up and smile. Good, I can see some of you doing this. It's good. Breathe. Lower the head, back foot down. Inhale, come up. And let it all go. Good work. Bring the legs in, give them a shake. And the arms. Okay. Let's take the legs wide, turn your right toes around, left toes in. We're going into a flowing version of Warrior Two. So let's breathe in, raise the arms, turn to the right. Exhale, bend the right leg. Now this is a moving warrior. So on our next inhale, we're going to straighten the right leg, bring the hands in, draw them up through our center, up to the heart, and then exhale back into the pose. So we'll do 2 more of these. Breathe in and breathe out. Again. Good. Inhale, straighten the right leg and exhale. Turn the feet around and again, breathe in. Exhale to the left. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more like this. Inhale, straighten the left leg and release. Release the legs. Okay, just stand towards the backs of your mat and we're going to take a step forward with the left leg. Hands onto the hips. Make sure your hips are square, facing forward. Now this is Parsvottanasana, where we're coming forward. You can bend this front leg if that feels better for you, better for your knee. The traditional pose is to have the hands into prayer and we come forward like this. So if you can manage that, please feel free to do that option or even hold the opposite elbow. Otherwise, just keep the hands on the hips. Let's breathe in, look up. And then exhale, try to come forward with a flat back, a nice straight spine. Remember, you can bend that front leg. Now you can keep the hands on the hips, or some of you might be able to reach your fingers down towards your mat. So nice long spine. The full pose is actually to bring the head down towards that left shin. So you can move in that direction if you've got the opening this morning. Otherwise, just focus on the forward bend, nice long spine. Make sure you can breathe. Sometimes if we try to go too deep into a pose, we can't breathe freely. So it's better to come out of the pose a little bit. Let the breath flow. Okay, let's carefully come up. So if it helps, bend that left leg to come up and step the feet together. Give the legs a bit of a shake. Let's do the other side. So right foot forward, hands perhaps in prayer or hold the opposite elbow or hands on your hips. Hips are facing forward. Deep breath in, look up. And exhale, come forward. Nice long spine. Good. Hands can stay on the hips, or you can bring your fingertips down towards the floor. Either moving forward, or if you feel that you have the opening, you can sort of come more over that right leg, drawing your forehead towards your shin. And then carefully come up and step the feet together. Couple more standing poses before we come down to the floor. So again, step the left leg forward, Parivrtta Trikonasana. This is our revolved triangle. There's a lot of steps in it. It's quite challenging, so we'll go slowly, and you might like to stop at some point and not go into the full pose. So again, our hips are square. Breathe in, look up, stretch the whole front of the body, open, and then exhale, come forward. Now you may like to stay in this position again that we just did. Otherwise, bring your fingertips down to the floor. Now to move into the twist, we take the left hand to the left foot, or the right hand to the left foot, or the outside of the left foot, and we take the left hand onto our sacrum. So this is the first stage. Checking that your hips are square. Have a feel of the sacrum, see what's happening there. So we need to draw that left hip forward and the right hip, left hip back, right hip forward. If you want to take it a little bit further, then we start to turn to the left, working that left shoulder back. If you feel steady, you can extend the left arm up. And finally, we look up. But you can stay with that first stage if that's better for you this morning. And if that means the breath can be flowing freely. Bring the left hand down to the hip, turn the head back to the floor. Carefully come up. Step your feet together. Let's try the other side. So right foot forward, left foot back. The legs aren't as wide as they often are, say for Trikonasana or the warrior two. They're a little closer together. So hands are onto the hips. Open the front of the body as you breathe in. Then come forward, long spine. Good. Hands may come down to the floor. Left hand may come to the top of the right foot or to the outside of the right foot. And your right hand may rest on your sacrum. You may just like to stay here. Some of you might like to start to turn now to the right. Feel your sacrum, is it flat? So we need to draw that right hip back and the left hip forward a little. If you can, extend the right arm up and perhaps look up. Breathe. Bring the hand down, head back to the floor. Inhale, come up. And step the feet together. Okay, feet hip width. Let's breathe in. And bend the legs into bird. Take the arms up behind. Drop your hands to the floor. Make your way into down face dog pose. Option to stay here, but another option to come down onto your knees at this point and rest in child pose. Those of you who are happy to stay here a little longer, connect with your breath. Imagine you're pushing the mat in opposite directions with your hands and your feet.
trying to create more space between your hands and your feet. Those of you still in dog, if you'd like to, come forward into plank. Hold plank for a few breaths. See if you can lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana. See if you can hover off the floor for a breath or two. And then come all the way down. Push back into child. So we can all meet in child pose and take a rest. And gently come up. And we're going to make our way into a semi-supine position. So feet are hip width. Lying down on your back. Hands maybe on your belly or just by your sides. Might like to pop socks on at this point if your body will start to cool down a little. Might like to sigh the breath away. Taking a moment to notice any pleasurable sensations of warmth, expansion, spaciousness, a lightness of being. And also notice any unpleasant sensations or feelings of heaviness or fatigue or mud. Just welcoming all of these sensations. Rejecting nothing of your experience. Perhaps visualizing a ray of sunshine beaming down from the sky in through your third eye, the center of your forehead. Let this light flood your brain, your head, your entire being. If you'd like to join with me, we'll chant Om Suryaya Namaha 3 times. Breathing in. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Just a couple more gentle poses before we move into a meditation. So I'd like you to bring the right knee in towards the chest and just hug the knee in. Now you can keep the left leg stepped up close to the buttock as I have, or you can extend the leg out along the mat, whatever feels more comfortable for you at this point in time. See if you can draw that right knee into the center of the abdomen. So really massaging the internal organs, the ascending side of the colon. Unless there's any discomfort or if you're menstruating, then the knee would be more out towards the armpit, not so much pressure into the abdomen. So just holding, squeezing the knee. Make sure you're not clenching the teeth, that the chin is tucked forward so the back of the neck is long. softening the skin of the face. Now from here, we're going to move into a twist. So we need to slide that left leg away. Keep the left hand on the outer edge of the right knee. Right arm comes out to shoulder height. And as we exhale, we're going to draw this right knee over to the left side. If the neck's feeling okay, you might be able to turn to look towards your right fingers. Otherwise, keep the head in a neutral position. Good. Gently come back to center. Step the right foot down and let's bring the left knee in, give it a hug. We'll do the same on this side now. Drawing it in towards the center of the abdomen. Massaging the descending side of the colon now. And then right hand to the outer edge of the left knee, left arm at shoulder height. Slide that right leg away, carrying the knee across the body, perhaps turning to look towards your left fingers. Gently come back to center. And this time bring both knees in. So this time we're hugging both knees in and we try to keep the knees together if we can, the legs together. Gives an extra massage into the abdominal area. If it feels a bit too strong, then you can separate the legs a little bit. Chin tucking forward. Connecting with your breath. Good. And then on your next inhale, raise the legs up to the sky. Arms out to the side or up and overhead. Exhale, bend the legs. Give yourselves a hug, perhaps lifting the head. 2 more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Last one. Good. And then gently rocking from side to side. See if you can rock right over to your elbow. And then use the elbow to help push you back to center and to the other side. Good. And then we're going to roll over to one side and carefully come up into a seated position just for a short meditation before we come to rest. Make sure that you're warm enough. Good. Nice straight spine.
The eyes lightly closed. I like to sigh the breath away, softening the face, relaxing the mouth. Now, in this quiet space, I invite you to visualize in your mind's eye a triangle. And I invite you to hold your awareness at the top of the triangle, the apex of the triangle. And as you keep your awareness there, say to yourself the words, I am in the light. And then move to the bottom right-hand corner of the triangle and say to yourself, I am of the light. And then move to the bottom left-hand corner of the triangle. I am light. So go up to the top of the triangle. I am in the light. Bottom right-hand corner of the triangle. I am of the light. Bottom left-hand corner. I am light. So let's do this a few more times. We'll speed it up a little bit. So the top of the triangle, I am in the light. Bottom right, I am of the light. Bottom left, I am light. I am in the light. I am of the light. I am light. I am in the light. I am of the light. I am light. Once more. I am in the light. I am of the light. I am light. Now keep the eyes closed, and I invite you to visualize yourself now in the middle of the triangle. And let's sit just for another couple of minutes in silence. Sitting in the middle of the triangle, I am in the light, I am of the light, I am light. I am in the light. I am of the light. I am light. I am in the light. I am of the light. I am light. And then very quietly, without disturbing yourself too much. Come to lie down for Shavasana. If you prefer to remain seated, that's fine. Otherwise, lying down, find a cozy place to be on the floor. Rug yourself up. And as you lie down, I invite you to go to that place, that deep place inside where you can just be you. Taking some quiet breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Using your breath to bring you to calmness. Breathing in peace, light, love, and breathing out stress, worry, fear. And in this quiet space, I invite you to become aware of a source of light coming towards you. In your mind's eye, look up and see this source of light drawing nearer. As this light draws nearer, it may or may not take the form of a being. It may remain as a source of light or become any form that feels right for you. If your vision has imagined a form, look into the eyes of this being. See yourself reflected in its eyes. See how this being regards you with such love and acceptance and compassion. Know that this is your source of truly unconditional, positive love. As the light and love radiate from this source of light, feel it move into your being. Feel your heart and spirit fill with the love that has always been there for you. Allow yourself to affirm yourself as a unique and precious gift on this earth. Stay here a few moments longer and enjoy this feeling of being accepted and loved unconditionally. And then very, very gently start to bring your awareness back into your room, into your physical body. Starting to deepen your breath and bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And I'd like to have a bit of a stretch. And then rolling over to one side and just curling up into a little ball. Hug your knees in. If you set a different intention for your practice this morning than the intention I set, just repeat this intention to yourself now 3 times. And when you're ready, no rush, let's come up to sit. We'll close with 3 Oms this morning. You can join in or just listen if you prefer. Bring the hands together at the heart. Breathing in. Just gently bow your head down, looking deep within and saying to yourselves a few times, my inner light shines forth, guiding and lighting my way. My inner light shines forth, guiding and lighting my way. Lift the head up. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.